How we doing, folks? Your host Moose here on the Pitt Panthers Football Network as we welcome you back to the off-season here preceding Season 5, and we take a look at some position changes that occurred over the offseason. The main one, number one, Jay Keys makes the permanent switch from quarterback to wide receiver, and you'll notice his overall dropped to 77. Mainly what happened was he was about a 78 as a quarterback, 77 as a receiver. His awareness statistic went up over the course of the season, and so that progressed his overall further. But then when you switch him to receiver, it really drops their awareness down. So the way I counteracted that, just because I think it's fair, since he would, if I'd have put him as a receiver originally, he would have had a high awareness because he could play receiver. I ended up bumping his awareness up to where it would have been had he stayed at quarterback, because he had the same awareness at receiver. So it ends up bringing his rating back up to like 81 or 82. I think 82 overall. We also moved Antonio Ryan from right tackle to left tackle to make him the backup left tackle. Ronnie Baker moved to right end, just so we had our two best defensive ends at different end positions. And then we went through the position changes for our two athlete recruits that we brought in, Scott Whaley and Bill Butler, who would become Taekwon Sutton in the renaming of the recruits. And so we kind of weren't sure where to put these guys. Whaley could play safety, could play corner. He was a really good running back, receiver. He also could pass as well. He could have played quarterback as well. So I really could have put him anywhere. He ended up being a corner, though. I think he's going to be one of our starting, if not the second corner, then he'll be our nickel corner. I think he's already going to get in the starting lineup. Now, Butler was a little bit more interesting because I thought he was probably our fourth corner this year, maybe even our fifth corner. His man coverage isn't as good as some of the other guys that we brought in, like Whaley, Billy Jacobs, who became Damian Vector. He's not as good as those guys. So when I was trying to decide where to put him, I considered actually putting him at either running back or receiver. No, Butler was the one that could play quarterback. He could throw as well. Not as good as Jay Keys, so he was like a 79 power, 80 accuracy, but still good. I also looked at halfback. We're pretty thin at halfback, and he's got 93 speed, so I thought maybe he could be a speed back for us, but he's got absolutely no elusiveness. He's got no break tackle, spin moves, anything like that. So I didn't think he'd be very good at running back. And then because he has good catching stats, but like I say, he's not elusive. He doesn't get away from me, but I didn't think he'd be great at receiver either. So I think putting him at corner as well, letting him play corner, and we may formation sub him into a couple of different random sets just to get him some utilization on the offensive side of the ball. Since he is a 5-star recruit, he's very, very good, and he would expect to play right away. Plus, he has a lot of talent, and since he's not going to get in the game a ton defensively because he'll probably be our dime corner, we'll probably let him see the field a little bit on the offensive side of the ball, just because, we have that opportunity. We'd love to get his speed on the field and make him do very well for us. We can see the progression of the quarterbacks was fantastic. Good to see them both and continue to improve. Halfback, they both had a nice jump of +5. Colin Wells also had a great offseason, +6. So very good to see from the sophomore there. He'll probably stay as our number 3 running back, though we may see Jay Keys in the backfield like we did last year as well. I like Daenerys Carter. I think he's going to be good with good speed. Xavier Godfrey, not great. He's not very fast, but we already have a back like that in Todd Sibley. Receiver growth, you can see Jay Keys went up to 81. Like I said, when I edited his awareness up from 61, I think I edited it to 75 because it was at 57. It would have been at 71, so I bumped it to where it was, plus the +4 growth he got in the offseason. It brings up to, I think, 75 awareness, which raised his overall to an 82. So it doesn't really do that much for him, but it brought him up to an 82 is where he ends up being, which I just did that because the position changes brick your awareness, which it makes sense if you're going from two completely dissimilar positions, but it's almost like the game forgot that he came in as an athlete and could play quarter or could play receiver. If I'd have put him at receiver originally, I just didn't know what I wanted to do with him, and on the off chance I wanted him to be a quarterback, I left him at quarterback. And so, it messed with things in that fashion. But some great growth. John Cooper, our center, fantastic growth, +7. He's 91 overall as a true junior. He's a guy that I think could be an All-American this year. And as a senior, he's going to be 96, 97, 98 overall, which will be incredible. Some really good growth there. Sean Wolfgang hits 90. So the senior, 33 sacks already to his name, has some good growth. Ronnie Baker, also very good, up to 87 overall. I think he's poised for a big season. I think he might have the most sacks per snap of any player in the country. I feel like he only plays a handful of snaps a game, and he still had 5 sacks last year, I think it was. Barry Jenkins up to 90, good growth, so another defender on our team does hit 90. I think we'll have 3 guys at 90 or higher on the defense this year. Chase Pine, redshirt senior middle linebacker, to 87. Jason Jordan, very good growth, +5. He's up to 87. I think he's poised for a very big year. He really impressed me at the end of last season. The one thing you notice, Adarion Mitchell, the sophomore from Tifton, Georgia, bit of a lazy offseason, only +3 in terms of overall growth. So it'll be interesting to see how much game time he'll get to play this year and what kind of impact that he'll make, because it was a tough growth in the offseason. Kaiser Artis-Scott, though, our best defender, up to 94 overall as a senior. Fantastic. Expect a big year out of him, finally getting a chance to play as a number 1 cover shutdown corner. Avery Heller as well, 83 overall already as a true sophomore. He's going to be starting for us at the strong safety position, so excited to see what he can do, and of course our kicker and punter growth as well. And now here's where we throw the little wrinkle in. Those of you guys that have been here since the beginning know I do this in every offseason. We have random offseason progression. I decided this year we normally did 8 players lose overall rating and 2 grow. I did instead 4 grow this season, just because I don't know, I saw somebody else doing something similar and I kind of like that. So we can see Kenny Pickett does get hit with a -3 overall roll, so it brings him down just to a 96. Which I don't think is going to affect him. I think he's still set for a big year. Keyshawn Ross, true freshman, loses 2 down to a 63. Xavier Godfrey, like I mentioned, it's going to be tough for him to see any playing time. He may get a move to fullback or something like that, just so we have the depth. Loss of 5 on the roll. He drops down to 70 overall. Trey Brown got crushed. Unfortunately, the true freshman in this recruiting cycle, -3 and a -4 roll. So he drops from a 68 overall all the way down to a 61 overall. So tough break for him. Thankfully, our backup center is a sophomore, so we have at least 3 years before we'd even need to see Trey Brown in the lineup. So he can redshirt and grow over a few years, and he should be back to a respectable number before he may see the lineup. And we'll probably recruit a center this offseason or something just to counteract that. Bandino Mo, our long snapper, actually got the biggest roll, and that was a real luck of the draw for us, because the only time he plays is on long snapping, and so that doesn't really hurt us too badly. Shane Mitchell, true freshman, unfortunately lost 1 overall point. He is a bit of a loose cannon for us, so he loses 1 overall. He's probably going to redshirt anyways. AC Reese, our backup quarterback, also got hit, so both of our quarterbacks got hit with growth there. He lost 2 down to an 84. Deuce Holland, nice growth in the offseason for him, +4, so up to 73. +7 for Marquise Walker, which doesn't really help us. He was down in the 50s already, so he's up to 66. Hampshire, our potential backup or even starting free safety, good growth, +4 to 83. And Michael Collins with a gigantic boost up to 89, so +6. Probably our offensive lineman that struggled the most for us last season, and he gets a huge growth. I think overall between his normal progression and that progression, he went +10 from 79 to 89 this offseason, which is just fantastic for us. We then saw that we did have to cut a couple of players. They were all guys that were added as walk-ons. It was nobody we actually offered a scholarship to, all walk-ons that were cut. There's 5 of them, so we knew that was coming already. And then we take a look at the guys we wanted to redshirt. So Shane Mitchell, the receiver, does get a redshirt. They'll give him an extra year of eligibility. Trey Brown, of course, is going to redshirt, our 3rd-string center. I didn't decide to redshirt Antonio Ryan. He's going to be our backup left tackle. I just didn't think it'd be fair to redshirt the JUCO guy. I redshirted J.D. Harris, right tackle, who's going to be our 3rd-string right tackle this year, so he could redshirt. I did not decide to redshirt Mac McAlevey. I think he's going to get some playing time. He looks very good. I like his technical ability, so I don't think I'm going to redshirt the true freshman there. I did redshirt Tristan Alvarado, our 5th-choice defensive tackle, but did not redshirt Ryan Jacobs. He's going to start right off the bat. And then I had a tough decision here. We have so many corners with very similar ratings, but we have 4 freshmen. One of them needs to redshirt because we can't have 4 freshmen go to 4 sophomores, juniors, seniors. We need to break that up a little bit and save at least one guy for next year. So that's going to be Brian Jungling. He's going to redshirt, I think. Now, of course, if we need him because injuries do occur, we can take the redshirt off him at any point. Keyshawn Ross is going to redshirt as well. The final thing to take a look at is our schedule. We'll give you a little sneak peek of what we have coming here. Our normal ACC slate of games, and then our non-conference schedule will be hosting UConn in the season opener. We'll also host Maryland at home, and we will have a visit from Notre Dame midway through the season. Our one away trip in non-conference, we will be going away to Marshall, finishing off a home and home that we started with them way back in season 1 of the Dynasty. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of some of the roster moves, who's going to be most affected by the training growth and the progression and things like that you saw in the video. I think it's going to be very exciting. The next episode is going to be the season preview episode, and then we'll only be an episode away from getting into our season opener against UConn. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hail to Pitt. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.